a lot of rain over the winter. So it felt like it was good, but with these winds, it's really drying up quickly.
I was about to say, we really haven't seen all too much over the past month or so.
Yeah.
So even though, yeah, we saw a lot in the winter, it's still drying out pretty quickly, especially the grasses. So that's where the highest risk is for grass fires and brush fires over the next several days as much drier air is working its way in. As you can see, there is that red flag warning in effect across the Central Valley and for the most inland locations of the Bay Area. And you also saw a lot more cloud coverage early this morning and a big cool down, but you saw all of that cloud coverage quickly dissipated. Just a little bit of that fog that's currently sitting over our Santa Cruz Mountains, parts of the South Bay and the peninsula, and that fog will quickly clear overnight tonight as much drier air works its way in. This area in blue, this is dry air, and this dry air is going to continue to make its way south across the entirety of California over the next 24 to 48 hours. So the darker the blue, the drier the air. So yeah, we are going to be seeing some very dry air, especially across the Central Valley of California. That really increases our fire danger. The darker yellows and the darker oranges represent that high fire danger, which we are going to see into tomorrow afternoon once again. And we are going to continue to see that highest fire danger across the inlandmost parts of the East Bay, as we are going to be continuing to see that offshore wind developing. And that's the reason that, again, that red flag warning is in effect for up near Solano County and up across the Central Valley of California. That will be our best chance to see that highest fire danger. But everybody, honestly, just be safe. No outdoor burning tomorrow, as those temperatures are going to continue to warm up. We'll be in the mid 80s across the inland East Bay. The places that are going to be dealing with that high fire danger going to be in the mid 80s, like I said. Santa Clara Valley, South Bay community is going to be back to normal, going to be in the mid to upper 70s. Areas around the Bay going to be in the mid 70s. And even our coastal communities are going to be in the upper 50s to low 60s, kind of just depending on where you're located. And we're going to continue to see those gusty winds, not only in our inland areas, but also along the coast. This area in purple, this is what's known as a storm warning. Basically, what that means is we are going to be seeing some very churned up waters along the ocean. So it's going to be very dangerous if you were planning on taking your boat out. I would highly suggest against it because, again, we are going to continue to see very windy conditions, and those windy conditions are not great when it comes to fire danger and for spending time out on the water. Drier air continuing to make its way in across the bay as high pressure begins to dominate. Northerly winds, again, going to be the highest tomorrow afternoon. They're still going to be gusty into Tuesday, but as high pressure moves overhead, calmer winds, more sunshine, quieter conditions, and that's going to allow our temperatures to continue to heat up significantly through next week. So by tomorrow, it's honestly going to be a much nicer day than today. Perfect if you're planning on heading to the Bay to Breakers race. Plenty of sunshine, dry and quiet conditions should stick around. But our inland locations are going to be seeing a heat up on the way with upper 80s to near 90 degrees expected across the inland areas all through Wednesday. A brief cool down will be arriving by Thursday, Friday, but it's barely cool down. It's just going to be back to normal for this time of year. Kind of just depends on where you're located. Inland communities are going to be sitting in the mid to upper 80s, while places around the Bay are going to be in the mid to upper 70s. But either way, those of us without air conditioning, it's going to be hot as we step out over the next several days. Back to you guys.